Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel. A riveting hour, and I want you to just take a deep breath or a short breath. and I want to hear from Rachel Maddow what your reaction to the last hour of that discussion is.
Well, I mean, the Facebook thing that I was just discussing right there, I think just as a point of focus in terms of what's likely to happen next about the Russia investigations, I was not expecting the secretary to talk about Facebook in those terms, and I think that's interesting and important and deserves some reflection. I think that Facebook should also answer to what she said. So that's kind of top line. I guess overall, I'm probably still too much in the middle of it. I have to say, at a personal level, I'm happy to see her doing well. When you've seen somebody who's been a lifetime public servant, who's been through the kind of ringer that she's been through, we all imagine the kind of personal toll that takes. And so I was happy to read the book and think that it's a good book and recognize her voice in it and know that she's doing this good work to produce this thing. I was also happy to see her in person and see that she is well. She's definitely still in the arena, though, combative on the Trump administration without mincing words at all, and very, very straightforward and very, not aggressive is the right word, but assertive and well-informed on the Russia stuff. So this is not a retired politician. I know she says she's not going to run again, but this is definitely somebody who is still very, very much in the arena. Given the circumstances of her election and who won against her, I think that's an incredibly interesting dynamic for the country moving forward. We've never really had this before.
Rachel, I've always found that politicians who have run for office, once they've decided and publicly announced, as she now has, that they're not going to run for office again, that talking to them is a different thing. There's a different vibe from it. You talked to her, you interviewed her when she was running for president. You've interviewed her several times before this. This is a different person.
Yes.
Occupationally, who you're interviewing tonight, someone who's setting off in a different kind of direction. And I have to say, I felt from the audience that there was a different feel to listening to her, that you didn't get that sense of candidate caution and feeling the boundaries of what she can say about this and not wanting to disturb certain constituencies. You could just feel a confidence in, whether you like it or not, this is what she thinks about this and this is what she has to say.
Yeah, and I think that's right. You know, she writes about the cautiousness and guardedness of her public persona in the book, and actually gives some pretty good insight into its development and its pluses and minuses. But my feeling when I had talked to her when she was running for president was that her cautiousness and her measuredness with her words was because she was somebody who was probably about to be president. And so she was preparing to be president and trying not to tie herself up, both in terms of somebody who had to answer for something on the campaign trail, but also for somebody who wouldn't want to tie herself up with stuff that was going to follow her into the presidency, a job that she knows very well and took very seriously. I always felt like she was the only non-president I'd ever talked to who ever seemed like a president. Now, she really doesn't seem that way at all. She knows that she's not going to be president. She's not going to run for office again. She doesn't have to answer for those things either as a candidate or as a public official, and she's being absolutely blunt. And I mean, if you don't like her, you probably find it to be pushy. If you do like her, you probably find it to be refreshing. But you're right, there's a big change from what it was to talk to her this time last year. My
long-term prediction is Hillary Clinton approval numbers go up, and they tend to always do when a politician says, I'm not running again, because the public has a different relationship to that person. That person's not asking anything from them anymore, and they kind of have I think actually a clearer view of who that person is.
Yeah, and some of that will depend on what happens inside the Democratic Party. I think the Democratic Party needs to figure out who it is now, and you know, if it's not going to be the Barack Obama party and it's not going to be the Hillary Clinton party, I think there's a lot of competition for whose party it's going to be, and how she fits into that will be part of how Democrats see her. But I think independents and people writ large, I think you're right. I think those numbers start going up, and I think the fact that the book is actually a good book will help with that.
Rachel, thank you for another great hour and important interview.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.